Imagine your mind as a high-performance computer. For years, you have been running thousands of applications simultaneously. You have 50 tabs open in your browser: news, social media, work emails, past regrets, future anxieties. You never shut it down. You never reboot. You just keep opening more windows. Eventually, the system begins to lag. The cursor freezes. The fan spins loudly, overheating. You try to work harder, clicking furiously, but the processor simply cannot keep up. This is the state of the modern human condition. We call it stress, burnout, or brain fog. But in reality, it is a lack of bandwidth. We have lost the ability to be still. We have forgotten how to clear the cache of our own souls. Today, we are going to talk about the only technology capable of rebooting: the human spirit meditation. Many people misunderstand meditation. They think it is about floating in the clouds, chanting ancient mantras, or escaping reality. This is a misconception. Meditation is not an escape from reality. It is a direct confrontation with reality. It is the act of stepping out of the stream of noise, so you can finally see the river. To understand why this is non-negotiable for a successful life, and how to actually execute it without going to a monastery, we will consult the four greatest architects of the human mind: the Buddha, Socrates, Jesus, and Confucius. They all practiced a form of deep stillness, not as a hobby, but as a prerequisite for wisdom. Let us begin with the master of the mind, the Buddha. The Buddha described the untrained human mind as a monkey mind, jumping frantically from branch to branch, drunk on distraction. He taught that most of our suffering comes from our inability to simply observe things as they are. We are constantly reacting. Imagine a glass of muddy water. If you keep stirring it, trying to clear the mud with a spoon, it only gets cloudier. But if you place the glass on a table and leave it completely still, what happens? The mud settles to the bottom and the water becomes crystal clear. This is the Buddha's lesson on execution. Meditation is the act of putting the glass down. How to execute this? Start with the pause of observation. You do not need an hour. You need 3 minutes. Sit in a chair. Close your eyes. Your mind will scream for attention. Check your phone. What about that email? Do not fight these thoughts. Do not stir the water. Just watch the thoughts float by like clouds. Focus on one anchor: your breath. Inhale, exhale. When the mud settles, clarity returns. This is not doing nothing. This is the active process of clarification. Next, we move to the master of logic, Socrates. We often think of Socrates as a talker, debating in the markets of Athens. But history tells us that Socrates would often stand perfectly still for hours, lost in deep internal concentration. He called this listening to his demon, his inner divine voice. Socrates understood that society is a machine, designed to impose its software onto your hardware. The mob, the politicians, the traditions, they all want to tell you what to think. Meditation, for Socrates, was the firewall. It was the time he took to disconnect from the external programming, so he could audit his own internal logic. The Socratic execution of meditation is the audit of silence. In a world of fake news and algorithm-driven opinions, you need a sanctuary of critical thinking. How to execute this? Before making a major decision, practice the Socratic stop. Withdraw from all input. No data, no advice, no Google. Sit in silence and ask yourself, is this thought truly mine? Or was it planted there by fear or society? Meditation is the tool that separates your true voice from the noise of the crowd. Now we turn to the master of the heart, Jesus. For Jesus, meditation was not just a mental exercise, it was a relational one. The scriptures tell us that he frequently withdrew to lonely places and prayed. In the midst of immense pressure, crowds demanding miracles, enemies plotting his death, he disappeared into the wilderness. Why? Because he knew that power flows from connection, and connection requires silence. He spoke of the inner room, a private space within the soul, where one meets the divine. In the modern world, we are terrified of being alone. We fill every quiet moment with podcasts or music because we are afraid of the silence. But Jesus teaches us that silence is not empty, it is full. It is where you recharge your source of love and endurance. The execution here is the surrender. Modern life tells us to control everything. Meditation is the practice of letting go of control. How to execute this? Create a digital Sabbath each day. For 20 minutes, disconnect from the grid. Enter your inner room. In this silence, stop asking for things. Stop strategizing. Simply be present. Say to the universe, or God, or your higher self, I am here. I am listening. This practice of surrender lowers your cortisol, heals your nervous system, and restores your emotional battery. Finally, we look to the master of order, Confucius. Confucius lived in a time of chaos and war. He believed that to restore order to the world, you must first restore order to the self. He spoke of fasting of the mind, Shinjai. Just as you fast from food to cleanse the body, you must fast from sensory input to cleanse the spirit. Confucius taught that a leader who is internally chaotic creates chaos around him. But a leader who is internally still creates a ripple effect of harmony. Meditation is the daily ritual of calibration. It is checking your internal compass before you start the journey. The Confucian execution is the transition ritual. We rush from task to task, carrying the stress of the last meeting into the next one. This accumulates mental toxicity. How to execute this practice: micro-fasting between events. Before you walk through the door of your home after work, sit in your car for 2 minutes. Fast from the day's stress. Reset your emotional state to neutral. Visualize the person you want to be when you walk through that door. This brief meditation ensures that you are acting with propriety and intent, rather than reacting out of exhaustion. So let us synthesize these teachings into a modern story for your life. You are the CEO of your own existence, but a CEO who never sleeps, never strategizes, and answers every knock at the door is an incompetent CEO. Meditation is the board meeting you hold with yourself. It is not about becoming a monk. It is about reclaiming your sovereignty. Here is your actionable plan for tomorrow. Morning, the Buddha's clarity. Do not touch your phone for the first 15 minutes. Watch the mud settle. Observe your breath. Start with clear water. Midday, the Confucius reset. Before lunch, take 3 minutes of mind fasting. Close your eyes. Reset your system. Don't carry the morning's stress into the afternoon. Evening, the Socratic audit. Review your day. Were your actions yours, or were they reactions to others? Learn from the silence. Night, the Jesus surrender. Before sleep, let go of the control. Trust that the universe will hold you while you rest. In a world that screams faster, the most revolutionary thing you can do is slow down. In a world that screams more, the wisest move is to seek less. Do not meditate to escape your life. Meditate to inhabit it fully. The power is not in the noise, it is in the silence between the notes. That is where the music is. Start today. Just sit. Just breathe. The reboot begins now.